With more than a decade of boxing history behind them, Juan Francisco Estrada and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez are going to meet for the third time in their careers as they come together to complete a trilogy of bouts between the two of them that have sprinkled the sport of boxing with class, action, warrior spirit, and everything that you've come to love and respect about the sport. And though these super flyweights are not necessarily everyone's cup of tea because of the size of the men, always remember this about the sport of boxing. It's not the size of the man. It's the size of the fight that's within the man. Let's talk about the trilogy that is coming up December 3rd. Chocolatito Estrada, Estrada Chocolatito, Part 3. When it comes down to trilogies in boxing, we often talk about Ali Frazier. We talk about Leonard Duran. We talk about Bo Holyfield. But when the little guys come together for trilogies, no one typically pays too much attention. But this time around, things should be a little bit different, because the two that you should be paying attention to, Juan Francisco Estrada and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, are two fighters whose paths have crossed twice over the past decade. Originally, when Gonzalez was 25 years of age and Estrada was 22 years of age. They were ranked number 1 and 2 in the world at that time at flyweight. They put on a match that had the boxing world set aflame because they fought. Both orthodox fighters, standing 5'3" with a 64-inch reach for Gonzalez and 5'4" with a 66-inch reach for Estrada. The first go around saw these guys really come at one another. They put on the type of performance that the boxing world, again, love to see between combatants. They're very professional and they're technically proficient. There was a time when Chocolatito was being promoted by HBO as the pound for pound best fighter in the sport, even though there were other fighters at the time, at the top of the sport, that most observers favored as pound for pound the best. It was no slight at Gonzalez. A lot of people didn't know him, and they didn't know him because he was at the smaller weight. Both he and Estrada campaigned so low that you have to at least get to featherweight or super featherweight to make the most common of the observers pay attention to what fighters have to offer. But that does not mean that these two men didn't bring about some of the best of what boxing had to offer. That's what this video is about. It's about dedication, showing that fighters who deserve to get the acknowledgement get their just due in the sport of boxing. And these two men, come December 3rd, will mix it up for a third go round. Now, when they faced off that first time, Gonzalez was able to get the victory. He had a unanimous decision over Estrada. But it didn't stop there, because both men have had similar opponents in their careers, and both men have suffered losses in their careers, which is proof positive of just because you lose a fight, it doesn't mean that it's over for you. Sometimes losing a fight is the beginning of it, what is more revealing about a fighter and what he may bring to the ring, as well as what he brings with his desires facing off against opponents. And that's what we will see going forward when these two face each other in their next fight. In the rematch, which was closely contested, it saw judges favor Francisco Estrada this go around. And in this bout, the two men, now aged 30 for Estrada and 33 for Gonzalez, still ranked number 1 and 2 in the world. Estrada found favor with the judges, though as I watched this fight, I had Gonzalez winning, because in this match, he showed defensive skills that made Francisco Estrada miss more, and he was countering well. This bout, which was fought in March of 2021, saw Estrada get the victory for the WBC and WBA super flyweight titles. But to some observers, though it was a split decision, many people had Chocolatito ahead once again. Now, the rivalry starts when you begin to acknowledge who you favor and what style are you favoring. The two men bring exactly what you want in the sport. One is a little bit more defensively responsible, and that be Roman Gonzalez. And Estrada is the more free-spirited guy, willing to take some risk, but may not necessarily be the smartest as far as ring IQ. Chocolatito has picked up the intelligence of being safety-minded after suffering a devastating KO loss to Sor Rungvisai. He since regathered himself, worked on his skills, and came back a smarter, more proficient, technically sound fighter. And he exhibited that against Estrada. The judges did not give him credit for that, though. They had Estrada winning. But if you go back and you watch the fight, it is a very clear-cut situation where Chocolatito was the more proficient fighter in that match. But this is not a slight at either man. It's about the level that they bring when competing against each other. These men are class. They fight with spirit and capability. What they bring, you often desire when you watch the sport of boxing. And Estrada fighting out of Mexico, Gonzalez fighting out of Nicaragua, these men have had predecessors to show them exactly what it's about when it comes down to quality boxing. Anyone ever remember the names of Julio Cesar Chavez? Or did we say Arguello, Alexis Arguello? Again, when you think about it, that's what you talk about when you say the class of boxing. And that's what these men will bring to us on Saturday, December 3rd. Who do you like? It's all about the guys and what they're able to put out in the ring. I've seen them do great things in the sport against one another and against common opponents as well as strangers. I favor in this fight going forward Chocolatito because he seems to be the man to me that makes the necessary adjustments. The only thing is his age. He's 35 now. And I did see some signs of the wear and tear of the battles he's had in his career when they last met. I don't like the fact that fighters who worked very hard through camps, the rigors of training, and through a grueling match, not getting the decision that I feel that they deserve. And I felt that in part 2, Chocolatito had done enough to win. That's no slight at Juan Francisco Estrada. He's a wonderful fighter. But he's also a younger fighter with almost 10 fights less than Chocolatito. He still has a little time at the age of 33. But we'll see what's going to happen. And as I said, I favor Chocolatito. I remember when HBO was promoting the man and speaking so highly of him. And because I hadn't seen him, I didn't know much. So I didn't know what to expect. And then when I saw him lose and get stopped, I questioned HBO. But then when I learned more after doing more research and finding out about the man who stopped Chocolatito, Soaring Visai, I said to myself, oh, when you don't know about these little guys, you have no idea what's possible out there. And he came back. Chocolatito did. He came back and he was able to do some things. But what's next? Will he be able to go out there and take care of business? I hope he does, because first and foremost, he's an all-around good guy in the sport of boxing. And so is Juan Francisco Estrada. Either way, the sport is well represented with these two men. But you just kind of want and wish the best for the best. What do you think's going to happen? Like I said, I pull for Chocolatito, but it wouldn't be an upset if Juan Estrada got the decision. But I just want a good fight overall, and I want the sport to be represented in the best of ways. This is Stormy B, man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about these fighters. Leave comments, share the video. Let's talk about the Superflies, huh? Until next time we speak, peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.